Good morning. If you are a senior in high school, if you're a graduating senior, could you please stand? Yeah, let's give them a hand, right? If you're the parents of the graduating senior, could you please stand? Can we give them a big Absolutely. I am so thrilled to have been a part of these teens' lives for the past year and a half. For me, they've been here a lot longer than that. And as a way to think about graduating, and I said it, last year, and it's still true, when you walk across the stage and receive your diploma, graduates, you will feel like the smartest human being on the planet. And then when you go to college a few months later and the first class you take, you will feel like the dumbest human being on the planet. And so it's cyclical, and it'll happen, and after you graduate college, same thing, and then you get a job, and then you get married, and that's where the education really begins. Speaking of, if you are the parent of a kid who's going to be a senior in 12 years, can I just say, I love you very much. You're amazing. Thank you. Not all of you, just that one. Bridget's going to help me preach today, except she's not going to say words. There is, I tried to think of one guy who maybe has the best words of advice, somebody that could really teach us something. And so who I found was, it was this guy. If you'll give me just a second, we'll get that up on the screen. There we are. Everyone knows him, right? Olaf. That's just a one-word joy bomb, isn't it? Just say it, Olaf. Olaf. Oh, right, you can't say it and not smile. In fact, I wanted to show you something because it's really, it kind of has to do with what we're talking about today. You may not have seen this. This was actually the UK trailer for the movie Frozen. Show the next screen, if you would, Jason. Just hit the space bar and we'll be off and running. Hello. It's so funny, and it's funny how even now you guys all laughed at just the right time. And there was bits when you're like, you're on the edge of your seat and what's going to happen? And then, that's funny. Oh, look at that. And the music goes up like this. Now, there's a reason for that, okay? And I want you to know this. When years ago I was in college and I went to watch this movie. Now I don't remember what it was. It was terrible, awful, unentertaining, bad. It could have flushed my $10 down the commode, and that would have been more entertaining than this thing I went to see. But it made me think, I want to learn how to write movies. I feel like I could write something better than that. So I started learning, and I picked up a couple of books, and I read this and read that, and read this script and read that script, and read the script as I watched the movie and see how it worked and see all the ins and outs and the skill of it. And there's really a lot to it. And what I found is there's this one guy named Sid Field. He kind of wrote the Bible version of how to format a screenplay, and his paradigm goes something like this. Each story, each film, basically has 3 acts, okay? A beginning, a middle, and an end, a setup, a confrontation, and a resolution. The confrontation is the middle part. It's the longest part. In a 2-hour movie, that's the middle hour. So we got 30 minutes to set up the characters, learn everybody, what's going on, and then something happens. And it causes, we meet our hero, and something happens to cause him to not have his object of desire. And then in the middle part, the middle hour in a 2-hour movie, he spends that time overcoming increasingly difficult obstacles in order to get the thing that he sets out to get, which leads us to the plot point 2 at the end, and something else happens, and it sets up the final confrontation in the resolution in Act 3, where either he's going to win or he's going to lose. They're going to ride off into the sunset, or they're not. He's going to score the winning touchdown, or they're going to lose on the 1-yard line. It's a happy Hollywood ending film, or it's an art film. You with me? Okay. Now, that's not just true with 2-hour movies. It's true with minute 28-second long shorts, too. Now, I want you to watch this again with that in mind. Let's look at the next screen. Go ahead and push the space bar one more time, and let's go through this. Okay, we're like 6, 5, 7 seconds in right now. We meet our main character. He's this lovely guy. Everything's fine. Who doesn't love him? And then, now we have a problem. We have lost our nose. Our object of desire has gone flipping along, and now it's a race. We are trying to get to the nose before Sven does. And Sven's facing the ice. Now they're having to overcome the obstacle of distance, and their traction doesn't work. And now they're trying every different method in order to get there. Now there's the motorcycle, and then that doesn't work. Sven is almost there. Finally, he has to use all his ingenuity to do that, and then he fights the biggest battle right here. And then, plot point 2, we've lost it again. Things are real. This is the lowest point of the story right here because he's the furthest away from his goal. Everything's sad. It's awful. And then, climax, redemption. And we love it. And the music plays, and it's happy. And we just have to watch this again because it's awesome. Okay. Did you see how that all worked? There's a lot that went into that. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to transpose it onto you, seniors. Not blowing your head off. Although, if you're all off, that would be fun. I want you to think about your life, and I want you to think about your Act 2, because it looks something like this. In Act 1, Jesus came. In Act 3, he's going to come back. And you are right in the middle. Your Act 2. And you are going to face increasingly difficult obstacles as you head toward achieving your object of desire. And your job, you see, your job is to make Act 1 match Act 3. If Olaf sneezes and his nose goes flittering across the ice, and then all of a sudden we cut to Sports Center, and then we cut back at the end, the story doesn't make sense. We're living the wrong story. So how do we go about living in Act 2? I want you to see this right here. We already read this. And in Psalm 19, there's 3 distinct parts to this psalm. I don't know if you caught that. The first part starts out, the heavens declare the glory of God, and then it goes on to talk about the cosmos. Day to day, they pour out speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. There's no speech, there's no words, where their language is not heard. Their voice goes out through all the earth. Everything that God made in creation speaks His name. It may not use words, but it is speaking His name. And it does that because the creation, the cosmos, is filled with value. In Genesis 1, God didn't say it's neutral. He said it's good. Right? Good's not neutral. Good is good. And the universe is overflowing with the nature and the character of God because He's the one who created it. And it's there for the seeing and the viewing. And who among us has not stood at a mountain or a lake or a Grand Canyon or the ocean, and you've stood in awe and wonder at the God who created all of this? Have you ever been out so far in the country that you look up and the stars are so bright and you feel this big? That's the heavens declaring the glory of God to you. But then the psalm takes a twist. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure. Just listen to these subjects. The testimony, the precepts, the commandment, the rules. They are much to be desired, even more than gold. They are sweeter than honey. And the middle part of this psalm goes from the big, huge, out there general God of revelation to the specific revelation of the Word. And He makes Himself known through the pages of this. Right? And they're not just rules for living. That's totally not the whole of Scripture. It is a magnifying glass and a telescope all at once. And on the other end is God. Listen to this psalmist who says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. That's how important the word is in this whole economy. Listen to the importance that the Apostle Paul puts on the word. I'm sorry, the Matthew writer. But Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live but by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Listen to the next one. "For whatever is written in former days was written for our instruction, that through endurance and through the encouragement of Scriptures we might have hope." Romans 15:4. That's the Apostle Paul. Look at the next one. This is my favorite. "Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." I come to this book and I read it, and my first primary way of reading it is, how can I teach that to others? I just kind of pass over, what does it mean for me? Now, understand, that's a fault. Don't imitate that. I'm saying that's something that I need to work on. I need to be able to read this and take it in here first, before I even think about how to present it there. Which leads us to the last part of Psalm 19. "Who can discern his errors? Declare me innocent from hidden faults. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins, and let them not have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer." As you are living out your Act 2, seniors and church, we will focus our Act 2 on Psalm 19, because within our Act 2, Psalm 19 comes to bear. Because of all the wonder and the creation and the cosmos, if we spend all our time out there thinking about big, huge, amazing, wondrous things and being impressed by them, and there's a place for that, but if we spend all our time there and never get to our heart, that's no good. Then the heavens declaring the glory of God is for naught. But if, on the other hand, we spend all our time in our heart, all our time being individualistic and starting lots of sentences with I, and thinking about us all the time, and what can I do in my personal relationship with Jesus, and me, and I, and there's a place for that. But if we just do that, and we never see the bigger picture, if we never see the bigger painting that God is painting, if we never see the grander vista, if we never get the big, full story of the chapter, if we never see Act 1 and Act 3, then we're turned in and we're self-reliant. And that's no good either. So what is it that stands in between our hearts and the cosmos? Well, according to this psalmist, it's the Word. It's the Word that gives focus to the cosmos. It takes what is vast and general and moves it down through the filter of God's Word, able for us to take it in. Because what is in our heart is, well, some of it's kind of scary, right? And some of it can be dark. And sometimes there's things lurking there that we would just as well not anybody see. Which is why in the first part of the psalm, this psalmist sets up the sun as a metaphor for God. There is no place where it will not shine. No place. If you walked outside, well, not now, it's raining. On a normal day, if you walked outside, you could probably only actually look at the sun for like half a second. Probably not even that long. Folks, that's one star in a galaxy of billions. How much brighter is the God of the universe than that? I defy you to find a better metaphor for the power of God than the sun and His holiness and His wonder and His power. But you see, it starts with the courage to let the Word shine. Not the sunshine, let the Word shine into your heart. Now, I'm saying that to seniors, but I think we can all amen that for ourselves. Can I get an oh yeah on that one? We do a lot in our, don't get paid on this, okay? We do a lot in our tradition with Jeremiah 31 to 34, the word, there'll be a new covenant. A day is coming, there'll be a new covenant where the word will be written on the hearts of people. And it's really easy and good for us to really hone in on the new covenant part. But let's look for just a second at the word being written on our hearts. How's that going to happen? I had a friend of mine say that, there might be things where if you just know how to Google something, you can find the answer. And that might work for some disciplines. But in the kingdom of God, in living in the Word of God, it is applying the seat of your pants to a chair for long periods of time. And there's no substitute for planting God's Word in your heart, because when you do that, you start to see things you never saw before. Your soul starts to see things you never saw before. I'm the first guy to tell you I'm a commercial muter. Do any commercial muters in here? Commercial comes on and you mute it. You with me? I hate listening to commercials. And 999 commercials out of 1,000 I absolutely despise. This is the one that's not. Because I want you to see an illustration of what it looks like when your soul starts to see, when your soul becomes a reflection of your eyes. Now, that's not in the commercial, that's me, but I want you to watch this.
I didn't really know there was such thing as colorblindness at the time. I think I was 6 or 7. I thought maybe I wasn't intelligent enough to tell, because I didn't know, and I didn't tell my parents, so I stopped painting and drawing.
There's some drawings where I wish I could see how my kids put the colors together and what they were visualizing. It's not that I can't name them, there's nothing there. That's gray, and that's gray, and that's gray.
I had moments where girls would make fun of me for not knowing girly shades, and I felt self-conscious about it.
Sometimes I feel like there is a world of color that I'm just sort of missing out on.
Color blindness is a situation where, because your eyes are different than someone else's eyes, you don't see the world the same way. Commonly, red and green don't look different, but look the same. So if there's a kind of a color filter, kind of glasses that would separate colors, they suddenly can see red and green.
There's nothing wrong with the wiring. The problem exists in the eye with the photopigments. So Valspar is working with us at Enchroma to bring color to everyone. We developed these glasses to enable colorblind people to see color for the first time in their lives.
There's like this whole end of the spectrum that I just was completely not aware of. I'm like getting misty. This is amazing.
I've never been able to see this one. I just want to cry a little bit. I never realized like how much I was affected by the fact that I can't see the world like the way that other people see the world.
When he's drawing, I see him going in and out of his crayon box like 150 times sometimes. Oh wow, that's cool. And now I kind of know why. There's a lot more colors here. All these things that are intentional in life, I never caught on to it.
In the end, the experience of color is so private that you don't really know how to explain that.
So is that what you guys see every day? Yeah? Yeah, just everything's flatter. Everything's, yeah, kind of, yeah. I don't want to take them off.
It's just dull. It's a little dull, to be honest. I never really thought about my colorblindness that much. It was just something that I had, that I dealt with, and that wasn't really a big deal to me. But color is an amazing experience that I think people probably take for granted.
Rules? Of course there are rules. But is that all there is? Are you kidding me? There is life to be found in the pages of the Word. And that is a picture of this. Because what that does for these, this does for this. And things they explode off the page. And you look around and you say, is this what you see all the time? And you're looking at things like they're for the first time, and it's been there all the time, but now it's different. And it's vibrant and it's full. And even a thing like the sunset, which God paints brand new every day just for you, by the way. The sun has no idea of its beauty. The creation is completely blind. The only thing that can appreciate the beauty of the cosmos is you. God did that for you. And even when we start out with something really big like mountains, and we take it down to the meanderings and the babblings of the brook of our heart, which come into the foreground because they're the closest to us. And in the middle, what bridges the two is the Word. It's not just the printed words on the page. Jesus said, I am the Word. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So let me invite you to see. Except, stop using your eyes. Because they can only show you this much. Let me invite you to start to see with your heart. Put Jesus on there and watch how things come alive. That might be you this morning in a very tangible way where you want to put the Lord on in baptism, and we can do that. But it might be in a very reflective, introspective way that you do some heart work on your own and you decide kind of right where you're sitting that I want to be able to see. Wherever you are. Jesus is holding out his version of the glasses and saying, watch this. Would you come while we stand and while we sing?